I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life.
Welcome to the Mental Health Militia News, where I am your host, Chabol, here with his co-host, Mr. Munster. Thank you, Mr. Munster. Today in the news, we have a doozy. But before we get into that, I must mention a disclaimer. Yes, a news station that comes with a warning. Why? Because us idiots care that the information we give you might be fire, but it turns out that it is me and Mr. Munster gathering it, producing it, writing it, and delivering it, so it could blow up in your face just like this gentleman right here. So please listen with discretion and use this for educational purposes only. Moving on from the fire to yes, as we still sit in the great media war of 2021, we notice that not many people are covering the mass atrocity that is going over in Canada to those poor Canadian people that would give you the shirt off their back in below freezing weather. Moving on from the news to yes, as we're starting to understand who Chabot is. He left y'all guys he thought was in a good place. He thought this war was going to come to an end soon. Cryptocurrency was going to take off and I was going to be rich. But it turns out that none of that worked out. People are confused and they're like, Chabot, you got to come back and explain it to us. Well, I'm back. Here we are. Let's go. Moving on to the opening quote, your MHM News. When you have an efficient government, you have a dictatorship. Harry S. Truman. Ooh, I knew that when I knew it. Ooh, I knew that when he was a president. He was a president. Moving on to the opening story. Yes, DJT, he knew it, put out by Blueprint. You see him not touching the hand of the dictator Castro himself. Yep, young Castro. Can't believe it. Moving on from the opening story to yes, why Canada will become a dictatorship under Trudeau. Yes, we see here in an article that did not age well whatsoever, written back December 2014, updated February 11, 2015. The leader of the party does what he wants, when he wants, and no one dares to question him. Would the Prime Minister Trudeau arbitrarily whip the vote and outlaw certain moral questions? Could the Prime Minister Trudeau be trusted to make decisions for the good of the country, not just for his personal self-worth? Would Trudeau call in the police to enforce his vision? Let's hope we would never have the opportunity to ask those questions. Ooh, you asking them now, so you got the opportunity. Call me. I'll be here waiting. Moving on to yes, the sick world news here with your MHM News. To yes, put out by Ted Cruz, covering Nunchuk following the pump to the Ontario Superior Court of Justice asked self-custodial wallet provider Nunchuk.io to disclose user information and freeze users' Bitcoin. And the Nunchuk put out, Dear the Ontario Superior Court of Justice, Nunchuk is self-custodial collaborative MileSig Bitcoin wallet. We are a software provider, not a custodial financial intermediary. Yes, what they're saying is that they only hold servers where you could store your Bitcoin or alternative currencies. And then Ted Cruz says, this is spectacular. Yes, because it is absolutely funny as hell, because these people are trying to run a dictatorship and just realize they cannot fuck with cryptocurrency the way they want to. Bleep. Moving on from the news. I didn't mean to curse. Yes, Trudeau's deputy, Chrystia Freeland, whose grandfather was a prominent Nazi and who is dictator at the World Economic Forum, says she plans to make her emergency powers permanent. Yes, Chrystia Freeland made an announcement this week after Trudeau's invoked the Emergency Act on Monday that she will try to invoke her powers to be permanent because that's how the Nazis work. I tried to tell people, I was like, the Nazis are coming, the Nazis are coming. And they're like, who do you think you are? I was like, Paul Revere. And they're like, no, that was the British. But I was like, it's 2022, the Nazis are coming, the Nazis are coming. Yes, people did not believe me when I told them the Nazis are coming because I did not look like Paul Revere. Moving on from the news to, yes, welcome to America, bitches, here with your MHM News. Biden declares national emergency ahead of Freedom Convoy heading towards Washington, D.C. Yes, Joe Bootstraps Biden is announcing that the Rona national emergency should be extended ahead of the expected People's Convoy heading towards Washington, D.C. Why? Because these people are absolutely afraid of anything that is not their plan. So we see them absolutely scouring for as much power as they can, such as the military. Moving on from the news to, yes, iron out intolerance of racial propaganda here with the MHM News. Excuse me. Black female high school student is identified as vandal behind racist graffiti that saw Sacramento High School water fountains scrawled with white and colored. Yes, what you see here is some poor girl took a joke way too far and now has made herself on a low budget news station here on YouTube. So I fully apologize to do this to you. And racism is only funny when you're around close friends who understand that it is a joke, because racism isn't real, because you can't be hated against your own race, because we're all human. Moving on from the news to, yes, funny money was section of your MHM News. Mr. Mustard seem Bitcoin too funny no more, because them poor Canadians need it in that convoy. Moving on from the news to, yes, the Fed is going to hike rates regardless if Biden's nominees are confirmed, Economist says. Yes, what we're seeing is, and the people who get paid a whole bunch of money just to watch other people and report on it, said there's an iceberg ahead, and then Joe Biden's like, we gotta steer towards the iceberg. The iceberg's over there. No, it's over there. We just going to keep turning the wheel until we go in circles and then hit it. Whoa! Yes, you see here they are looking for an iceberg and will go into circles until they hit one. Moving on to, yes, you shut your mouth. We'll bomb who we want. It's war propaganda. Moving on from the news to, yes, U.S. has intel that Russia commanders have orders to proceed with Ukrainian invasion. Yes, and the mental health militia news, we have orders here also that the Ukrainian invasion is not going to happen. So you say whose orders are real and whose orders are fake, because my orders look real as hell. Moving on from the news to, yes, the sex crime section of your MHM News. Ooh, we've reached the sex crime section. Ooh, these women, you can sex crime me. Ooh, yeah, sex crime me all up all day. Ooh, yeah. Yes, but here at the MHM News, the sex crimes in this section are usually nothing good, and it's not happening to me. Moving on to the news. Cuomo faces new sexual harassment suit after recent legal victories. Yes, we see here that after his suits were thrown out of court, we see here that people are bringing up more suits because this man had his hands obviously in a lot of pantsuits. Moving on from the news to, yes, the mass atrocity crimes preventing future outrages with your MHM News. To, yes, Epstein's accomplice Jean-Luc Renault reportedly hangs himself in a French prison, and the French prison was like, we don't know how. I can't do a French accent. We don't know how. Now, Jean-Luc Renault, Yes, we see here that the only French accent I can do is Jean-Luc Bruno. But the French prison said they did not give this man bed sheets to hang himself. So was he really hanged, or did he just get Clintoned? I think he just got Clintoned. He didn't get Epsteined because Clinton's the one doing the murders. He's just linked to Epstein. Moving on from the news. Yes, Bill Gates says COVID risks have dramatically reduced, but another pandemic is coming. Yeah. I can't do another pandemic. It's wrong. It hurts. It hurts. What? What did you say? Oh, Mr. Munster has a good point. Mr. Munster says that the next pandemic is probably going to be the people that got the vaccine. Thank you, Mr. Munster. 2 fingers. Yes, moving on from the news. You've reached the Ronus section with your MHM news. Everyone is at risk of blood clots. CDC and Pfizer issue urgent warnings on blood clots, even the healthiest of athletes. You're kidding me, right? Everyone is at risk of blood clots, even the healthiest of athletes. Both CDC and Pfizer have recently issued public warnings of blood clots. Is this just a way of them normalizing young people and athletes to get blood clots because just everybody gets them? Moving on. Fraud, scams, and lies could target you, so protect yourself, people. Like not getting yourself a jabberoonie in your ass and getting blood clots. Moving on from the news. Yes, excellent summary of the Durham investigation to date. Will Durham destroy the national security state or just Hillary Clinton? I think it's going to be all of the above, and that is the best summary up to date, that they are all going down. Yes, Durham's revelation, destruction of the national security state, or just Hillary Clinton. We see here that February 11th, he made a filing against Michael Sussman, and Michael Sussman's probably singing like a bird. Yes, we see here that these mofos are singing like canaries. Moving on from the news to, oh gosh, if you made it this far, you made it to the veterans section of your MHM news. Moving on from the news to, yes, in post 801, almost a 3-year delta. AG Sessions, U.S. Cyber Task Force, important. Then put out on the same day, 802. What is a patriot? A person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and his interest with devotion. 2. A person who regards himself or herself as a defender, especially of individuals' rights against presumed interference by the federal government. What is a traitor? 1. A person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust. 2. A person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. Trudeau, Biden, a whole bunch of other people. Too many names were coming forward for me to just jump on and start naming people. Moving on from the news to, yes, we see here in post 803, test, good, confirm, yes. Were they testing a satellite or servers around the country? I think so. Moving on from the news to, yes, in post 810, the trader sold SAPs. How do you break up something big? What happens if low, mid, senior, non-corrupt patriots learn they were sold out? What happens? Who is waiting with open arms with a plan to reorg under a single entity with direct OS by Trusted Patriots. Who are Trusted Patriots who understand Intel collection? Raise your hands. We are Trusted Patriots for the most part and will not betray you or become traitors. We're moving on from the news to Yes Post 2876. For those who think this is a fake or we are not considered a major threat, this is a direct attack by Hillary Clinton on Q and pro-POTUS patriots. This article referenced as an embedded link that literally targets pro-POTUS Q Twitter accounts that have been identified by Clinton's deep state as serious threats, ability to shift the narrative. Twitter also already began to remove targeted account stages under false pretenses. The war is real. The threat is real. Clinton pandemic. Clinton fear. Judgment Day is coming. Moving on from the drop to, gosh, if you made it this far, I didn't want to make it this far. God bless you. That is all for now from the Mental Health Militia News. Mr. Munster and Chabul. Have a good one. God bless you and yours. Holla, Chabul. Two fingers. It's alright. It's alright tonight. I didn't do that bad. I like that beginning. I like the beginning right there. I can't get enough of that. Want to do it again? Let's do it again.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of